The galaxy believed humans were weak. For centuries this idea stayed unchanged. Alien historians taught it in schools. Galactic leaders repeated it in councils. Humanity was remembered as a failed species. Old records said humans destroyed themselves. They fought endless wars. They poisoned their own world. They burned their skies and oceans. According to history, Earth became silent. No ships left the planet. No signals escaped its system. In time, even the ruins faded. Alien history books marked Earth as dead. A red symbol floated beside the planet's name in every galactic archive. Extinct. But something was wrong. Far beyond the core systems, an alien scout ship moved quietly through space. Its mission was simple. Scan forgotten regions. Confirm old records. Update maps. The ship belonged to the Valoran Union, a cautious but proud species. They trusted data. They trusted history. And history said this system was empty. The scout ship entered the human solar system. Stars burned softly in the distance. Planets drifted in perfect silence. There were no defense platforms. No satellites. No warning beacons. The captain observed the view screen. No signals, one officer said. No ships, another added. No life, the scanner chief confirmed. Everything matched the records. The captain relaxed slightly. Another dead system. Another forgotten species. Then the scanner paused. A small sound echoed in the control room. The scanner officer leaned forward. Captain, I am detecting something. The captain turned slowly. What kind of signal? The officer hesitated. It's very weak. Almost noise. Source? The captain asked. The officer adjusted the scan. Earth. The bridge went silent. That's impossible, the captain said calmly. Humans went extinct centuries ago. The officer swallowed. The code pattern is human. Old human. The captain stood. Run the scan again. The lights dimmed slightly as power shifted to the scanners. The signal appeared again. Faint. Broken. But real. Human code. The captain's voice grew sharp. Magnify the source. The image zoomed toward Earth. The planet looked damaged, scarred by ancient war. But something else appeared near it. The moon. A dark shape moved slowly behind it. At first it looked like a shadow. Then it moved against the stars. The ship's warning system screamed. Before anyone could react, the lights went out. All power was gone. 3 seconds passed. No shields. No engines. No weapons. 3 seconds was enough. Power returned suddenly. Systems rebooted in panic. Report, the captain shouted. We lost full control. Our logs are damaged. Weapons never fired. The scanner officer stared at his screen. The shadow is gone. The moon was empty again. The solar system returned to silence. Then a sound came through the speakers. Static. Old static. The frequency was ancient and used for centuries. The translator struggled, then locked. A human voice filled the bridge. Come. Cold. Clear. You should not have come. No threat. No anger. Just a statement. The transmission cut. The crew stared in frozen fear. Trace the signal, the captain ordered. No source, the officer replied. It's like it was everywhere and nowhere. The ship shook once. A soft pulse passed through its hull. No explosion. No damage. Then the starfield vanished. The scout ship disappeared. No wreckage. No distress call. Nothing. Across the galaxy, maps updated automatically. The scout ship's marker blinked once. Then vanished. Hours later, in the heart of the galaxy, the Galactic Council gathered. Massive beings of many species filled the chamber. Screens floated above them, showing system reports. One screen flashed red. Valoran scout ship, status, lost. Murmurs spread. A malfunction? One delegate asked. Pirates? Another suggested. A Valoran elder stepped forward. The ship entered the human system. Silence fell. That system is dead, a counselor said. The elder raised a clawed hand. It detected a human signal. Laughter echoed briefly. Impossible, someone said. Then the elder spoke again. There was a transmission. The chamber quieted. A recording played. The human voice filled the hall. You should not have come. No translation errors. No distortion. Perfect clarity. The council leader stood slowly. We may have made a mistake. Screens changed. Ancient files unlocked. Restricted records surfaced. Old warnings long ignored. Earth's symbol flickered. The red extinct mark hesitated. Somewhere in the dark, something watched. A forgotten species. May not be forgotten at all. Cut to black. When the galaxy underestimated us. The Galactic Council Hall stayed silent long after the human message ended. No one spoke. Many species had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. They had seen wars, invasions, and extinctions. But this moment felt different. A single sentence had shaken them. You should not have come. The council leader broke the silence. Open all historical records on humans, he said. Screens across the hall lit up. Old data streams flowed again. Files that had not been opened for centuries returned to life. Humanity's story appeared. At first it looked familiar. Humans were listed as violent, emotional, divided. They fought each other constantly. They created powerful weapons before understanding their danger. They damaged their own planet. Many species believed humans destroyed Earth completely. The council reviewed images of ruined cities, broken oceans, and burning skies. This proves it, one delegate said. They ended themselves. But a data analyst raised a hand. There is something missing. The council turned. These records end too cleanly, the analyst continued. No final war. No clear extinction event. The screen shifted. New layers of data appeared. Hidden. Classified. Ignored. Long-range scans from centuries ago showed something strange. Human signals did not fade slowly. They stopped suddenly. All at once. Across the entire solar system. That is impossible, a military commander said. No species can go silent together. Unless it was planned. The analyst zoomed in on old sensor data. Human satellites had shut down in perfect order. Military bases powered off at the same time. Deep space transmitters erased themselves. Not destroyed. Deactivated. They didn't collapse, the analyst said quietly. They disappeared. The room filled with uneasy whispers. Another screen activated. It showed alien fleets from the past. Many species had visited the human system after its silence. Scavengers, explorers, researchers. None of them returned. Those incidents were labeled as accidents. Navigation errors. System failures. The truth was never questioned. Until now. The Valoran elder stepped forward again. Our scout ship lost all power for exactly 3 seconds, he said. No weapon hit. No explosion. 3 seconds. The same number echoed in several old reports. Ships that vanished near Earth had also lost power briefly. Then they were gone. The council leader's voice grew serious. Humans did not go extinct, he said. They hid. Fear spread through the chamber. Why would they hide? Someone asked. The answer came from another record. Human psychology studies appeared on screen. Humans learned fast. They adapted faster. But most of all, they remembered pain. One ancient report stood out. It spoke of early alien contact. Humans had reached space with hope. They searched for friends. Instead they found predators. Early alien empires attacked human colonies. They stole resources. They tested weapons on human worlds. Humans survived, but barely. They learned a lesson the galaxy forgot. When the universe sees weakness, it strikes. So humans changed. They stopped sending signals. They erased their presence. They let the galaxy believe they were dead. One council member whispered. They turned extinction into camouflage. The screen shifted again. This time, secret human structures appeared. Hidden deep inside asteroids. Buried under planets. Floating in dark space without light. Human cities. Human shipyards. Human fleets. All invisible to normal scans. They did not grow in numbers. They grew in control. Humans studied alien technology from a distance. They learned alien languages. They mapped every empire. They waited. The council leader leaned forward. Why reveal themselves now? He asked. The Valoran elder answered slowly. Because we entered their system. Another voice joined in. And because they sent a warning, not an attack. That disturbed them the most. Humans could have destroyed the scout ship instantly. Instead they spoke. That meant something. Far away beyond known space, a dark command center existed. No lights were visible from outside. No signals escaped. Inside, human officers stood before a massive star map. Hundreds of alien empires glowed across it. One system pulsed softly. The Valoran scout ship's last location. A human commander watched silently. They finally noticed, an officer said. Yes, the commander replied. And they underestimated us again. Should we stay hidden? Another asked. The commander shook his head. No. The lie has served its purpose. He turned toward the map of the galaxy. Now we see who remembers history, and who repeats it. Back in the Galactic Council, alarms sounded. A border system went dark. Not destroyed. Disconnected. No explosions. No distress calls. Just silence. A report arrived seconds later. All our ships in that system are disabled, an officer said. No damage. No power. The council froze. A new transmission appeared. Human origin. Simple. Clear. We are still here. The message ended. The galaxy began to understand. Humans were never weak. They were patient. And patience in war was terrifying. Somewhere in the shadows of space, human fleets began to move. Not in anger. Not in revenge. But with purpose. The age of believing humans were extinct was over. And the age of fear had just begun. When the galaxy underestimated us. The galaxy had always believed humans were gone. They were wrong. A single human ship emerged from the dark edges of the solar system. Its hull was sleek, black and unmarked. No symbols. No flags. Nothing to show its origin. To an alien observer it looked like a ghost. The ship's sensors picked up a massive fleet approaching. The Xylar Empire, one of the most feared powers in the galaxy, had detected human activity. They thought they were merely finishing the last extinct species. Prideful, they sent hundreds of warships. The human ship's commander scanned the approaching fleet. He did not flinch. He did not panic. Instead, he studied them carefully. Every formation. Every weak point. Every weapon's range. The alien fleet assumed humans would scatter. They laughed at the tiny ship on their scanners. Send one ship to destroy it quickly, the Xylar commander said. Humans are weak. That is all that remains. The human ship moved silently. No engines roared. No weapons flared. It seemed calm. The aliens struck first. Lasers burned through the void. Missiles screamed past stars. Explosions erupted in the darkness. And then it happened. The human ship fired a single pulse. Not a beam. Not a bomb. A precise, invisible pulse that traveled faster than sensors could detect. One by one, the alien ship's engines died. Shields collapsed. Weapons shut off. The fleet froze in space. Panic spread quickly. How is this possible? A Xylar officer shouted. All our systems, offline. Nothing is responding, another cried. The human commander did not move. His voice was calm, almost casual as he spoke into a silent comm channel. This is your first warning. The aliens could not attack. They could not flee. They were frozen by technology they did not understand. The human ship glided through the fleet like a shadow. No collisions. No damage. Just precision. Just control. Some ships tried to fire manually. Even then, their weapons fizzled before reaching the human ship. The human ship's sensors scanned each alien vessel. It recorded weaknesses, strength, speed, and formation. All this in silence. After minutes that felt like hours, the alien fleet disengaged. They retreated, ashamed and terrified. Their pride shattered. One small ship, one species long thought extinct, had defeated hundreds of warships without firing a single visible weapon. The Xylar commander clenched his claws in disbelief. Humans, this is impossible, he whispered. They should be extinct. They should be weak. They cannot. A new transmission appeared on all fleet channels. Simple. Direct. Terrifying in its clarity. We are still here. And we will not be ignored. The human ship turned toward the darkness of space. It left the Xylar fleet behind, crippled and humiliated. No planets were destroyed. No cities were burned. No lives were taken. This was not war. This was a warning. And a lesson. Across the galaxy, news spread like wildfire. The species that had underestimated humans were panicking. All previous records of human weakness were being questioned. Every fleet, every empire, every historian wondered the same thing. How did one ship, one species, survive and strike without fear? Inside the human command center, the officer who coordinated the strike spoke softly. Many will fear us now. The commander looked at the vast map of the galaxy. His eyes glinted with a mixture of pride and strategy. Let them fear. They have forgotten what patience is. They have forgotten what humans remember. The galaxy had learned something new. Something dangerous. Humans were not extinct. Humans were not weak. Humans had waited. And now, humans had begun to strike back. The first warning was clear. The next step would be unstoppable. And somewhere in the dark, hidden fleets began to move. Not openly. Not for war. But for a return that would be remembered forever. When the galaxy underestimated us. The galaxy was changing. News of the first human strike traveled faster than any starship. The Xylar Empire had lost hundreds of ships without a single human casualty. Other species began to notice. Histories were rewritten. Maps were adjusted. Whispers of humanity spread like wildfire. The Galactic Council convened again. Leaders of dozens of species filled the enormous chamber. Screens displayed fleets, systems, and logs of human activity. The room was tense. No one spoke. No one dared to underestimate humans again. A Valoran elder stepped forward. "We assumed humanity was gone," he said. "We believed their weakness was real. We were wrong." A Thurian commander, their claws tapping nervously on the table, asked, "How many ships do they have? How many systems are under their control?" "No one knows," another counselor replied. "They hide in the shadows. They strike and vanish. Even the Xylar fleet cannot trace them after the attack." The council leader leaned back in his chair. "This is unprecedented. No species has survived extinction, hidden in secret, and returned to strike with precision. We cannot fight what we cannot see." Outside the council chamber, in the far reaches of the galaxy, humans moved silently. Their fleets were scattered across hundreds of hidden systems. Not a single system had more than a handful of ships visible to outsiders. But each ship was highly advanced. Every crew had trained for centuries. Every commander studied alien tactics. Humans had learned patience. They had learned fear. And they had learned strategy the hard way, from the mistakes of their own history. In the Xylar Empire, fear spread quickly. A single human ship had humiliated an entire fleet. Now, small fleets began to appear near border systems. No communication. No warning. Only sudden disappearances of alien patrols, research stations, and defense satellites. The Xylar Council scrambled. Blockade the systems. Send reinforcements. But fleets could not find the humans. Every attack failed before it began. Every failed attempt was another warning. Other species watched carefully. The Dravari, a species known for ruthless conquests, decided to send a diplomatic envoy to the human fleet. They wanted to negotiate. They wanted to know how humans could strike so effectively without ever being detected. The humans listened. The commander of the fleet responded with one message. "We do not negotiate with those who underestimate us. We do not destroy what does not attack. We are here to remind the galaxy of our existence." The Dravari envoy left, terrified. Word spread through their empire. All other species began to prepare defenses, even in systems humans had not touched. Across the galaxy, merchants, explorers, and civilians whispered in fear. "They are alive. They have waited. They know everything." Alien historians began to dig deeper. Long-forgotten records surfaced. Old warnings humans had left in hidden corners of the galaxy were re-examined. Every civilization realized one truth. Humans were not just survivors. Humans were observers, planners, masters of patience. Meanwhile, in human command centers, strategy meetings took place. One officer, a young cadet, asked the commander, "Should we strike more systems? Show them our full power?" The commander shook his head slowly. "No, we do not need to. They will learn fear by their mistakes. We do not need to fight blindly. We fight with precision. We strike only when necessary." He turned toward the map of the galaxy. "Fear spreads faster than fleets. Let them fear us before they even see us." In distant systems, alien fleets began to withdraw from vulnerable positions. Borders were tightened. Plans were delayed. The galaxy had begun to change without a single human warship showing its full power. Humans were everywhere and nowhere. A shadow in the dark. A lesson the galaxy would never forget. And in the quiet of deep space, a hidden human fleet trained relentlessly. Simulations, strategy exercises, and weapon calibrations filled their days. The galaxy's strongest empires could not touch them. Yet the humans did not strike blindly. They were patient. They were silent. They were ready. One day the galaxy would face the full force of humanity. But today, humanity's first warning had already shaken thousands of systems. And fear, once it spreads, is unstoppable. When the galaxy underestimated us, the galaxy had been shaken. Alien fleets withdrew. Borders tightened. Histories were questioned. Every species knew humans were still alive. Yet they did not know why humans had remained hidden for so long. Then a message appeared. Not in a private transmission. Not in a coded signal. A message visible across every system. Every fleet, every station, every planet received it simultaneously. The message was simple, clear. Unmistakable. We are still here. Silence followed. Shock followed. Panic followed. The message continued. We stayed silent because we wanted peace. You mistook our silence for weakness. We are not weak. We are patient. We are strong. In the Galactic Council, leaders stared at the hologram. What does this mean? A Xylar commander asked, his voice shaking. Are they threatening us? A Dravari counselor whispered. A Valoran elder spoke. No, they are not threatening. They are reminding us of our mistakes. They survived themselves. They survived us all. The council watched as a series of images appeared along with the message. Ancient Earth cities, long thought destroyed, now rebuilt inside massive domes hidden on moons. Vast human fleets in dark space, invisible to sensors. Advanced weapon systems, precise and non-lethal, capable of disabling entire fleets without a single casualty. Training grounds where humans studied alien tactics, history, and technology for centuries. The scale was staggering. The galaxy realized humans had been hiding, learning, and preparing all this time. Not for revenge. Not for conquest. For survival. Then another message appeared. We do not attack unless attacked. We do not destroy unless necessary. We will protect those who cannot protect themselves. We will defend those who are weak. The council murmured in astonishment. This changes everything, one alien said quietly. The humans, they are not the same species we remember. Across the galaxy, panic spread among the empires. Merchants canceled trade routes. Governors evacuated border worlds. Fleets that had once laughed at humans now moved cautiously, afraid of invisible attacks. In human command centers, the leaders watched the galactic response calmly. An officer asked, "Commander, do they understand what this means?" The commander shook his head slowly. They understand fear, yes. But they do not understand humans. Not yet. He turned toward a massive map of the galaxy. Every glowing dot represented a fleet, a colony, a civilization. Every empire that ignored history will learn the cost of underestimating us. Every species that believed humans were extinct will remember this day. The human officer paused, watching the fleets of distant species retreat. No one is hurt, he said quietly. No worlds destroyed. No one lost. And yet, the galaxy is trembling. That was the power of humanity. Not in weapons alone. Not in numbers alone. But in strategy, patience, and intelligence. In understanding history and learning from mistakes. In proving that survival itself could be a weapon. The message ended, but its impact continued. Across the galaxy, species debated, panicked, and strategized. Alien leaders called emergency councils. Historians rewrote textbooks. The word human took on a new meaning. Not extinct, not weak, but a force the galaxy could no longer ignore. And in the dark reaches of space, human fleets continued to move. Not for war. Not yet. But for preparation. The galaxy had seen the first warning. The first message. And it had shaken the foundations of every empire, every fleet, every species. Humans were no longer a story of the past. Humans were a warning for the future. And the galaxy for the first time began to understand. The underestimated had returned. The patient had awakened. And the galaxy would never be the same again. When the galaxy underestimated us, the galaxy had finally seen the warning. The message was clear. Humans were alive. Humans were patient. Humans were no longer the species everyone believed to be extinct. But warnings were not enough. The time had come for humans to strike. A distant empire, proud and arrogant, had ignored the first human message. The Xylar fleet had rebuilt after its initial humiliation, convinced it could confront humans again. Other empires watched, curious and nervous. In the dark void of space, human fleets moved silently. Ships glided without engines visible to outside scanners. Fleets split and regrouped faster than any alien could track. Human pilots communicated without signals, using secure quantum channels. Their preparation was flawless. The Xylar fleet approached a border system, planning to show strength. They laughed at the emptiness, expecting no resistance. Hundreds of ships moved in perfect formation, confident in their numbers. Then the first human strike hit. It was not a firestorm. It was precision. A single human ship disabled the flagship instantly. Shields collapsed, engines died, weapons jammed. The Xylar commander's roar echoed across comm channels. How is this possible? More human ships appeared, seemingly from nowhere. They moved like shadows through the fleet, striking systems one by one. Alien ships could not hit back. Their weapons failed. Their sensors betrayed them. Every attack humans made was calculated, non-lethal, and devastating in effect. Within hours, the Xylar fleet was paralyzed. Ships surrendered without a fight. No planet was destroyed. No civilian life was lost. The galaxy watched in disbelief. Humans do not fight to win, a Dravari historian whispered. They fight to end wars. They fight to show what happens when you ignore history. Inside the human command center, the commander addressed his officers. Prepare the next system, he said. Do not destroy. Do not kill unnecessarily. Let them see what patience and intelligence can do. A young officer, awed, asked, Commander, are we showing mercy or power? The commander's eyes glinted with a sharp light. Both. Humans survived by learning from the past. Now the galaxy will learn from us. Mercy and power are the same when used wisely. The human fleets moved with precision, disabling fleets and stations across multiple systems. The strongest empires found themselves powerless. Their pride shattered. Their arrogance punished. Everywhere humans struck, alien leaders realized a terrifying truth. Humans were not just survivors. They were masters of strategy. They were unstoppable without being violent. They did not destroy worlds. They did not enslave species. They simply proved one thing. Never underestimate a species that survived itself. Reports came from the farthest reaches of the galaxy. The Zarkan Empire surrendered before any human ship arrived. The Terran fleet, a species known for centuries of conquest, retreated, fearing human precision strikes. Even the Xylar Empire, once proud and unshakable, sent envoys to negotiate peace. The humans did not gloat. They did not celebrate. They simply moved. One system after another fell under their influence, not through force but through intelligence, precision, and the fear that humans inspired. The galaxy began to change. Borders were redrawn. Empires reconsidered old strategies. Histories were rewritten. And everywhere, species whispered the same thing. The humans are back. And they are not what we feared, they are far stronger. Back in the hidden command centers, humans prepared for the next phase. They had struck to warn. They had struck to show power. They had struck to remind the galaxy of one simple fact. Patience is a weapon. Knowledge is a weapon. Survival is the deadliest weapon of all. And now the galaxy knew fear. Fear of humans. Fear of what comes next. Because when humans strike, they do not just fight. They end wars before the war begins. The first empire surrendered. The second followed. The third debated desperately, knowing resistance meant humiliation. Humanity had returned. Not as conquerors. Not as aggressors. But as the species the galaxy had underestimated for far too long. And in that silent darkness, across hidden fleets and command centers, one truth became clear. The era of humanity's shadow was over. The era of humanity's return had begun. When the galaxy underestimated us, the galaxy had been changed forever. For centuries, civilizations had believed humans were extinct. They had studied Earth's ruins, catalogued humanity as weak, and assumed the species had failed. But all those assumptions had been wrong. Now every empire understood the truth. Humans were alive. Humans were patient. Humans were stronger than any record, any history, any story had ever suggested. The Galactic Council gathered one final time. Screens displayed fleets from across the galaxy. Many crippled, some surrendered, all watching. The Valoran elder spoke first. For too long we dismissed humanity. We called them weak. We believed extinction ended them. We were wrong. And we will never make that mistake again. A Xylar ambassador stepped forward, still trembling. Our fleets, our pride, destroyed by a single ship, a species we thought extinct. We have learned humility the hard way. The humans did not come to claim planets. They did not demand tribute. They did not strike to punish. Instead, they sent a final message to the galaxy. We stayed silent to survive. We waited to learn. We returned not to destroy, but to remind the galaxy of one simple truth. Never underestimate a species that survived itself. The transmission included images of humans standing among their rebuilt cities. Ships gliding silently through space. Scientists, explorers, and commanders working together. Peaceful yet powerful. The message traveled faster than any weapon. It reached every system, every fleet, every planet. Some species celebrated. Some feared. But all respected humanity. Alien historians began to rewrite history books. They studied not just human survival but their intelligence, strategy, and patience. They realized humans had endured centuries of mistakes, wars, and hardships, and had learned from every one of them. The Dravari, known for their conquest, sent envoys to Earth. Not to negotiate but to learn. Other empires followed. Even former enemies sought alliances, guidance, and friendship. In hidden human command centers, officers observed the galaxy's reaction. A young officer asked, "Commander, will they ever trust humans again?" The commander shook his head. "Trust is not given. Respect is earned. And we have earned it, without firing a single destructive shot." Across the galaxy, fleets resumed their patrols cautiously. Borders remained tense, but the fear of humans ensured peace. No species dared provoke humanity again. On Earth and hidden human colonies, celebrations were quiet but meaningful. Humans had returned, not to conquer, not to dominate, but to remind the galaxy of one truth: survival is strength, wisdom is power, patience is the deadliest weapon. The galaxy finally understood. Humans were not a species of weakness or failure. They were a species that survived extinction, outsmarted empires, and emerged stronger than ever. A species that could be feared, respected, and admired, all at once. And in the darkest corners of space, among stars and planets, human fleets prepared for the future. Not for war. Not for conquest. But to protect, to explore, and to ensure the mistakes of the past were never repeated. The galaxy had learned its lesson. And humanity had returned. Never again would the galaxy underestimate humans. Cut to black.